Tonight on CTV, find out more about this morning's crash at the corner of Plum and Shields.
Plus, ASCSU campaign season is finally coming to a close.
And Better Together Day celebrates unique perspectives. All this and more, starting now. An ASCSU campaign is facing allegations. I'm Matt Leisman.
And I'm Edgar Studio. Thank you for joining us this evening.
A person was hospitalized today in a vehicle crash at the intersection of Plum and Shield Street. The accident involved 3 vehicles, including a transport bus, and happened just before 8 o'clock this morning. Shortly after the crash, Fort Collins police tweeted there had been a serious accident and advised commuters to use alternate routes. The Fort Collins intersection reopened just about 2 hours following the incident at 10:21 in the morning. The name of the person hospitalized has not been released at this time.
This past Sunday, Fort Collins police responded to a domestic disturbance call. 42-year-old Michael Aguirre Jr. was armed with a gun in his residence at the 6600 block of Antigua Drive. After refusing to comply with officers, the Fort Collins SWAT team assisted, and Aguirre was safely taken into custody after about 4 hours. He is charged with 2 felonies, including false imprisonment and menacing.
As campaigning season comes to an end this week, the Associated Students of CSU presidential candidate Ben Admonson and vice presidential candidate Alexandra Farias's campaign finance documents are being questioned. In a campaign video, Admonson says he and Farias donated most of their campaign money to the food bank of Larimer County due to their food insecurity platform. A member of ASCSU filed a report alleging the Admonson-Farias campaign misreported their donations, which would violate the ASCSU elections code. According to the Donations and Expenditures report, the Admonson-Farias campaign has donated $100 to the food bank. Admonson clarified his campaign didn't claim to donate all campaign funds, but rather his own personal money. However, Admonson says his campaign donated more than what's in the report. This investigation is ongoing. You can visit collegian.com for the latest results.
Oil drilling in Larimer County has been uncommon in recent years, especially compared to the state's #1 oil and gas producer, Weld County. However, Larimer County oil and gas operators submitted more than 130 drilling applications since last October. That's 17 times more than they submitted the entire year before. Fort Collins is one of few cities in Colorado that hasn't responded to state legislation. Although drilling in city limits is rare, Fort Collins still doesn't have any new regulations on the table.
Starting April 27th, the Exchange will offer an outdoor area where it's legal to drink alcohol. This will be the only place in Fort Collins where this practice is legal. After almost 3 years, the Exchange got their liquor license last week. This common consumption area includes Pizza Press, the Vatos Tacos, Copper Muse Distillery, the Infinite Monkey Theorem, and more as part of an entertainment district approved by City Council last month. The Exchange is located on North College Avenue and is the 10th entertainment district in Colorado.
It's been a sunny week so far, but that could take a turn tomorrow morning.
That's right, Edgar. Another blizzard is headed to Fort Collins, and now our weather forecaster, Jacobo Tiscareño, has more on tomorrow's storms. Jacobo?
Thanks, Matt. The warm weather we've been having here in Fort Collins is about to change. The National Weather Service issued a blizzard warning for Fort Collins, Loveland, and the Denver metro area from noon tomorrow to Thursday. Fort Collins is expected to get 2 to 5 inches of snow, with wind gusts approaching 40 miles per hour. Temperatures in Fort Collins will fall from today's high of 77 degrees to 20s by tomorrow night. If this prediction comes true, this will be the second blizzard in a month. Now back to you, Edgar.
Cool. With less than 24 hours to go until ASCSU elections close, we here at CTV have been working to bring you the latest updates on the presidential campaigns. We will be tweeting coverage of the 5 presidential campaigns throughout the night on our Twitter, CTV11.
The ASCSU Senate race has grown, with Blake Alford and Kevin LaRusso tossing their names in to run against Connor Hendrick. The 3 candidates focus their platforms on transparency within ASCSU.
We have a Senate that does a lot of things, passes a lot of bills and legislation. That's fantastic. But one thing is that students and constituents don't know about it, right? So there's no active Senate marketing to let people know that, hey, you can either come in and voice your opinion, or B, you can help write this legislation or be a co-sponsor on it.
Letting people know what ASCSU does, marketing it to people, that's not what it is. My version of transparency is making every single Senate session open to the public, making sure beforehand we're spending time out there telling students what bills are we're about to be going over within the Senate.
Transparency, awareness, and bringing in new people. And the reasons why I want to focus on those things is because ASCSU is doing a great job right now of being transparent and bringing awareness to what we are, but we can always improve.
The three candidates mentioned their goals for the Senate and the student body if they are elected.
Focus on reshaping the image of ASCSU through actually putting in the work of making it a better, more open organization.
Honestly, I'm just looking forward to hopefully next year a more effective, more efficient, more accountable and transparent Senate for the students on this university.
I think it's important that students know what ASCSU is doing, and that's something that Speaker of the Senate, that's what I would bring to the forefront, is letting people know is, hey, we can help you solve your problems, and here's how.
LaRusso, Alfred, and Hendrick also mentioned that they want more outside voices from the student body to be represented within the Senate and ASCSU.
Putting ASCSU out there, it's not about the website, it's not about the social media, it's about the people, the actual people within the Senate as people going out and talking to other individuals.
People saying, hey, ASCSU is an institution that can do things and that we can do so many things for you through marketing, through writing bills, through legislation.
One idea that I've been thinking about is adding a diversity position to our legislative branch's leadership, and this can bring in more diverse points of view on campus.
Voting ends tomorrow at 4 in the evening. CSU students can vote on RamWeb or in person at the LSC Plaza.
For more information on the ASCSU elections, you can visit collegian.com.
Colorado State student, staff, and faculty shared their beliefs today in an interfaith event called Better Together Day. This event took place just outside of the Laurie Student Center in the Sutherland Community Garden. It provides a safe space for students to share their beliefs and discuss the differences and similarities present on campus. There were also snacks, games, and a photo booth to capture students' personal ideologies. I spoke with some of the students attending Better Together Day and found out that a lot of us aren't so different after all.
So is there any particular faith or ideology that you identify with?
Yeah, I'm Christian.
I identify as Lutheran.
I'm atheist.
And I'm exploring just about everything right now, so we'll see.
And so then what's something that you've learned about someone else's faith today?
Okay, so something really cool I learned today was Baha'i, and they believe that all religions have some truth in it, and it is a continuous spectrum, and that God reveals himself at different periods in each religion.
Within this event, it just shows that like all of us can be together and not pick out like the things that are so different, but just like come together and say that we're similar by believing in something.
It's kind of just realizing that a lot of us have similar backstories on why we picked our religions, and we picked different religions for different reasons, but all kind of stem from the same place.
Why do you think this event is so important?
Yeah, we're very different people, and you might look at the outside and assume something about somebody, but here just encouraging, not necessarily for you to go and accept everybody's religion, but to be respectful and engage in respectful and accepting conversations, really, yeah.
And I just think it's always important to have a respectful conversation with people that aren't necessarily like you.
So, Edgar, I was out there at the LSC today, and I got to participate in the event a little bit, and I think it was really great that we had an opportunity for students to come around and discuss their beliefs in a really respectful environment.
I think that's sweet that you can have a conversation with someone. Obviously, religion is a pretty controversial topic to many, so I think just finding that common ground with whatever religion, and it looks like there was a wide variety there, so just like the awesome thing is just like learning about each other's religions and practices and all that stuff. So that's pretty sweet that you were able to go to that and cover it too.
I agree,
so
yeah.
It was a nice day for it too, so. Well, Rams, that's all we have for the news. Stay tuned with Jacobo Tiscareño as he brings you your weekly forecast.
Plus, Tara and Jessica have all the highlights from last night's University of Virginia win at the Basketball National Championship.
And then Justin recaps this weekend's drag show. You won't want to miss it.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Hey Rams, how's it going? Today's current conditions in Fort Collins was a temperature of 69 degrees, partly cloudy, with winds up to 11 miles per hour coming from southwest, and a gust of 12 mile per hour wind, 12 mile per hours, also coming from southwest. And today's sunset will be at 7:30 p.m. So, today's weather on campus was such a lovely day. We had a warm weather up to the 70s, not as sunny as yesterday, very nice and cloudy with a slight breeze. Brought a lot of people out and about onto campus, people chilling and interacting with each other, and puppies. Puppies were also here on campus, and they were also chilling with each other and interacting with each other like these adorable fellas here. You can still see some patchy areas here in the grass and some dead plants, but the good news is that there's some flowers starting to be planted on campus, and hopefully we'll get to see a lot more color by the rest of this semester. So, the overnight lows for tonight is going to be 42 here in Fort Collins and 32 over in Gregg, Colorado, and a little warmer down south in Pueblo and Lamar, and 48 in Colorado Springs. And then tomorrow's highs is, again, warmest in Pueblo and Lamar, and 50 in Denver, 44 in Fort Collins, and up to 43 in Vail and 47 in Grand Junction. So tomorrow's forecast, the highest will be up to 45 degrees and the lowest 26. We are going to see some rain and some snow tomorrow, and winds are going to pick up to 27 miles per hour, heading from the northeast with 74% humidity, and sunset at 7:34 p.m. So the rest of the week looks like I said, tomorrow is going to start raining and snowing, and then Thursday we're going to see some swirls with also 44-degree temperature, and then hopefully this weekend we'll get to see a lot more sun, and it'll be a lot warmer too.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Fans, and welcome to the T&J Double Take. I'm Tara Barrio.
And I'm Jessica Mendoza. Tara, last weekend the Colorado Rockies hosted the Dodgers from Coors Field, and well, as a Colorado native, it definitely went your ways and not mine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say this was a really tough weekend for the Rockies. I mean, not only did we win, but we swept them all 3 games, and the Rockies allowed 29 runs and only scored 14. So the Rockies definitely need to figure out their bats for sure. I mean, now they're second in the last for the West National League, so yeah, it's time that they figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it best. And even more bad news for Colorado sports fans. The Nuggets have not officially clinched the 2nd seed in the Western Conference yet. The Warriors have clinched the 1 seed, so it looks like the Nuggets are going to have to win their next 2 games to clinch that 2nd seed for the Western Conference.
Yeah, and I mean, if they don't win those next 2 games, they need to be prepared to play the Rockets.
Yeah, well, the Rockets will take their 2 seed, and the Nuggets will go down to 2, so it's definitely not what the Colorado fans are going to want to see. Well, March Madness is officially over, and as usual, it ended leaving no one shorthanded on excitement. Just 1 year after arguably one of the most embarrassing losses in NCAA tournament history, The Virginia Cavaliers cut down the nets in Minneapolis just last night after defeating the Texas Tech Red Raiders 85-77 in an overtime thriller. Head coach Tony Bennett and his team had a fire lit underneath them ever since they were eliminated as a 1 seed in the first round to a 16 seed UMBC last season. They used that fire to propel them past Gardner-Webb, Oklahoma, Oregon, Purdue, and Auburn before finally overcoming the Red Raiders. DeAndre Hunter's name will be remembered this game, no doubt. No, not for shooting 1 for 8 in the first half, but instead his under-pressure threes that came at just the right times for Virginia. Hunter scored 27 points and pulled down 9 rebounds. And Kyle Guy, who was named Most Outstanding Player of the Final Four, added 24 points. And of course, Ty Jerome, who will be remembered for his assists in last night's game, especially the drive inside when he pulled in Tech defenders and pushed the ball back out to Hunter with 12.9 seconds left for a clutch bucket. But 5 more minutes were needed to determine who would be the national champ, after 2 teams were tied at 68. But Virginia outscored Texas Tech 17-9 in the extra minutes and proved their mental toughness when they went a perfect 12 for 12 from the line in overtime alone. Virginia's 85 points was the most allowed by Texas Tech all season. The Cavaliers gave their program its first ever national title with the win last night. Texas Tech's Jarrett Culver and Virginia's DeAndre Hunter are 2 names expected to not return to the NCAA. However, they are still marked undecided to whether they will declare for the NBA draft this year.
After 42 days, the Colorado State softball team's winning streak was broken after their loss to San Jose State on Sunday. The Rams trailed by 3 after the first inning and weren't able to recover despite the 2 runs they got in the top of the 4th and the 5th inning. Lauren McCanna doubled down the left field line to push across the first run for the Rams. And then the second was scored after Tara Shadowan hit a sac fly. Key players for the Spartans were Ariana Miranda, who singled to left field, and Cassidy Clark, who singled to right center, both scoring 2 of the 3 runs for San Jose. Starting pitcher Chris Hildebrand held the Rams to only 2 runs and only walking 1 batter. The Rams are still ranked number 1 in the Mountain West with a record of 11-1 in conference and 29-5 overall. The Rams will be hosting UNLV this weekend for a 3-game series. The Rebels will also be coming off from a heartbreak loss from Fresno State, losing 5-3 in the bottom of the 7th inning this past weekend.
Well, Ram fans, it is time for the best part of the week, this week's Disrupted Picks. Today's controversial topic comes from Luke Zalman, where he asks, what are your thoughts on Muffet McGraw, the head coach of the Notre Dame women's basketball team, and her comments that she made in the post-game press conference where she talks about gender equality? And before we discuss Tara, let's take a look at the clips from the press conference.
Men have the power. Men make the decisions. It's always the men that is the stronger one. And when these girls are coming out, who are they looking up to tell them that that's not the way it has to be? And where better to do that than in sports? All these millions of girls that play sports across the country, they could come out every day, and we're teaching them great things about life skills. But wouldn't it be great if we could teach them to watch how women lead? This is a path for you to take to get to the point where in this country we have 50% of women in power. Look at men's basketball, and 99% of the jobs go to men. Why shouldn't 100 or 99% of the jobs in women's basketball go to women? Maybe it's because we only have 10% women athletic directors in Division I. People hire people who look like them, and that's the problem.
Wow. That was a very powerful press conference for sure. And I mean, she brings up very valid points. I mean, this is a huge controversy all around America. That's something we've been dealing with for a really long time, with equality. But what's something I found interesting is how in 1972, the women that coached women basketball teams was 90% women. And I mean, it backtracked and now it's 40%. So it's like we're going backwards and we're not going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing that's the most controversial about everything she said in that press conference was when she said that she doesn't want any more men in her program for Notre Dame. And I think that kind of shook people to hear that she's going to exclude men from her program. But I think the thing that's important here is that, like she mentioned, men's basketball programs, the NFL, the NBA, they don't have women's head coaches. So why should women let men in, which they've been in all along, but why shouldn't we start recruiting more women? Because men still aren't making that push to recruit women, and that's exactly what she wants to do. She is using her platform and her stage now that they made it so far in the women's NCAA tournament. She wants to use her stage to say, hey, I want to bring women onto my team. I know what they can do. I know how powerful they are. So I think it's really great that she's using her platform this way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, UConn's coach, Gino Ariama, had mentioned that she should be thanking her assistant coaches for helping her build her team. And I just think that's very disrespectful because she's not trying to say she isn't appreciative of everyone who's helped her or anything that has happened with the men. She was just saying that it's hard because as women here in America, we aren't treated equal. I mean, that's point blank. I mean, she even said it in her press conference, men run the world and men are in power. And so she's trying to stage a platform where women have that power and she can give women the opportunity to be ahead in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been great that she's been a voice for women. We have Becky Hammond, who came from CSU. She's coaching with the Spurs, and Greg Popovich. So I think that's really awesome to see her speaking up. And we've seen some really terrible comments coming from people. These videos have been posted on YouTube, the press conferences, and people have been saying some really terrible things, calling her a desperate lesbian and just really terrible names. And it's just really sad to see how the public has responded to what she had to say in trying to empower women.
Yeah, I mean, an angry lesbian, all these like unnecessary comments, and she's just trying to make a stand for women, and I think it's great, and I'm very appreciative for what she's doing.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
Well, Ram fans, that's all we have time for you this week, but stay updated on sports throughout the week, and be sure to head to thecollegian.com or follow us on Twitter at sports_CTV. I'm Tara Barrio.
And I'm Jessica Mendoza. Don't go anywhere because up next is Justin with entertainment, and he will recap this weekend's drag show. Stay tuned.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Good evening, Rams. I'm your entertainment expert, Justin Rios, here to guide you through your Tuesday dose of less intense and more fun news. From topics like drag, music festivals, and fashion shows, we have a lot to talk about, so let's get started. If you have never been to a drag show before, my first exclusive tip to you is, why not? With drag's quick climb to and integration into mainstream pop culture, I had to find out what new tricks these drag performers had up their sleeves for this semester's drag show.
The largest drag show in northern Colorado returned this past weekend to a packed ballroom and performances by local drag artists. CSU's Drag the Musical, hosted by Prism, was all about musicals, Broadway, and of course, drag.
Drag isn't what it used to be as far as having the big hips, having the fierce evening gowns and big hair. It's so much more than that.
With drag becoming mainstream in television media, local queens stress the importance of not getting lost in the glitz and glam of drag, but to be more aware of social issues surrounding queer youth, queer people of color, and the history of drag itself before sliding into that designer outfit.
Are you a fan of drag or are you a fan of drag race? You know what I mean? So it's really important. Are you supporting local entertainers? Are you supporting local queens and performers who are working very hard to maintain themselves? Or are you just very tantalized with the show?
The money raised from the drag show each semester goes right back to students through scholarships, resources for LGBTQ students, and advocacy programs. This semester, the Pride Resource Center raised money to give 3 $1,000 scholarships to LGBTQ students at CSU, with hopes of adding one more to the mix.
feel like I'm like prehistoric at this show now. Like I remember when they had like the literally the poster board with Sharpies, like drag CSU drag show, and now they have this big production. So kudos, kids, good job.
Drag the Musical raised $1,600 through donations. The drag show is a community event for everyone to attend and learn about each other in hopes of eliminating prejudice.
To everyone who came, thank you so much for coming, and we hope to see you next semester.
While it's too early to discuss the theme of next semester's drag show, you can bet I'll give you all the spicy deets as soon as possible. While maybe you're a struggling college student limping to the finish line of the semester and in dire need of a drink, and maybe some music for that plan of relaxation after 4 finals and 2 group projects. Foco MX, an annual music festival celebrating local musicians and performers, returns to downtown Fort Collins on April 26th to the 27th with more than 350 acts across 39 venues. Foco MX provides a 2-day create-your-own-adventure experience with live music and film, but don't expect to buy wristbands online as the date for that already passed. However, you can purchase your wristband with cash at the festival entrance. Now, I may not have the poise to sashay on the runway. Luckily, I don't have to with the designs from graduating design students showcasing their gorgeously constructed and styled outfits at the annual CSU Design and Merchandising Fashion Show, Exposure. The Fashion Show Exposure is a one-night-only event this Friday at 7:30 in the evening at the Fort Collins Lincoln Center. Reception for Exposure is from 5 to 7 in the evening with catered dinner, a silent auction, and complimentary VIP bags. You can purchase your tickets at lctix.com/csu-fashion-show-exposure. As a child of the 90s, who could forget about classic 90s pop cultures like Nintendo 64, Disney's Renaissance period, slap bracelets, and of course, AOL dial-up internet. Luckily, we don't have to worry about hogging up the internet connection from our siblings and can instead enjoy a blast from the past with the I Love 90s Bash Bar Crawl to Fort Collins this Saturday. Bondi Beach Bar, East Coast Bar, and Pinball Jones are some of the bars participating and encouraging partygoers to dress in outrageous 90s get-up and party with the best from the 90s. You can purchase your tickets at eventbrite.com. Well, that's all I have time for tonight, Rams. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure to tune in tomorrow night for CTV Local Beats, same time, same channel, with the people you know. Stay safe and have a good night.